In this first set of night shots with autofocus on, you'll see a couple things going on here. Both phones are recreating a somewhat upside down mirror effect of this neon sign that I'm not exactly sure how that works. If someone wants to elaborate in the comments and fill me in, I'd appreciate it. The 11 Pro in night mode and with autofocus on blows a lot out. The Clancy sign, the sign directly below it, and even the cocktails lettering below that. You'll see it blow out a light on the left here too. The Pixel 4 on the other hand is a lot more legible, but it also exhibits a lot of background noise in this photo. Here's the thing, if we tap to focus on the sign, these are the results. A much tamer shot from both. The one thing that keeps sticking out to me though is that background noise on the Pixel 4. It's really off-putting, and I'll get back to that in a second, but if you look at the sign below Clancy's, the Pixel 4 really pulls back on the highlights and it gives it a more even effect when it comes to lighting, and so it lacks, I don't know how you'd call it, light intensity? It makes things a bit less realistic, but again, I'll also get back to that in a second. So at 100% crop, you'll see the Pixel 4 uses more of a smoothing effect here. And you know, it loses a bit of detail. The color is a lot more maintained though. Look at the blue here compared to the 11 Pro. You can see what I mean about the evenness of lighting here. It kind of takes away from the realism of the shot. It still comes out great, but I think it's important to point that out. And then here's what I mean about background noise. The sky isn't black, it's more like black mixed with purple splotches even. It's real grainy and again, really off-putting. So again, with autofocus on, both of these came up pretty similar. Both have a haze from the streetlights above, more so on the Pixel 4, especially on the left here. And when I tap to focus on the yellow city center motel sign, again, the Pixel 4 really pulls from the highlights. It gives the overall shot like a flat look. It's not really what I was looking for here, and you know, you'll still see the purplish sky up above while the 11 Pro is more balanced throughout. In this next set of shots, both offer similar results, except the Pixel 4 goes for a cooler white balance here, while the 11 Pro is more accurate in terms of color representation at night. There's a bit of lens flare here on the 11 Pro, which is nowhere to be found on the Pixel 4. In this set, I tap to focus over here, which in this case really underexposed the 11 Pro's shot and left the Pixel 4 better overall. And in this next set, both did a really good job here. You'll see the Pixel 4 pull back a bit on the neon sign's brightness, which also gives it a darker shot overall, but still comes out pretty nice. And when tapping to focus on that neon sign, well, we have a bit of the opposite. This time the Pixel 4 underexposes while the 11 Pro makes minor adjustments. And in this last set, okay, there's a lot going on here. With autofocus on, the Pixel 4 does a better job keeping things exposed, but it's not awful on the 11 Pro. By this Roscoe sign though, you'll see like a black banding that extends from the very left all the way to the very right, which I thought was peculiar. Again, the background noise on the Pixel 4 is really apparent and something I could definitely do without. When tapping to focus, both provide again a better exposed shot, but the 11 Pros is about the best you could ask for. You know where the light intensity of this Roscoe sign is at. Below that, you'll see that as well, bright in some spots, less in others, just more realistic. At 100% crop, both do really well with detail here, and with the sign below, notice again how the 11 Pro shows the realistic light intensity of this sign. But you'll also see much more detail, which is completely lacking on the Pixel 4 for whatever reason. And again, with more noise and grain in the background that I could live without, while the 11 Pro offers better detail here. So as you can see, tapping to focus can obviously do a better job than just the normal autofocus, especially when it comes to things like neon lighting and artificial lighting, but you have to be careful and make sure that it is actually the better choice here. Hopefully this video cleared some of that up, and I think from now on when I do these night shots, I want to start doing just the normal autofocus and then doing tap to focus, especially, or at least when it comes to just like this kind of neon lighting or artificial lighting. I feel like that's probably when it's going to be most beneficial. Now, if you're new to my channel and you haven't seen the other camera comparison videos I've done with the Pixel 4 and the iPhone 11 Pro, I've done a ton of them. Day shots, night shots, portrait mode, audio recording, video recording, so on and so forth. I'll go ahead and I'll put a card up that'll have the whole playlist so you can at least take a look and see if there's something there that might be relevant to you. And before I go, if you like this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Your support helps me make these daily videos. It helps me make camera comparisons just like these. I'll leave a link to my Patreon in the description, or you can just go to patreon.com/Jerome Ortega. Finally, if you haven't, check me out on Instagram at PhoneJerome, where I'll post pictures with my DSLR, with any kind of phones that I'm running. And then you can also check me out on Twitter, where I'll pretty much rant and rave about just about anything. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.